Activecampaign countdown timer. We're going to talk about using the countdown timer feature at IntegratePro.net with Activecampaign. And probably the most important point is we want to talk about when the trigger of the countdown timer occurs. And the recommendation is to use the webhook capability that Activecampaign provides versus an email open, which gives you more control over how long the timer goes. And secondly, restarting that same time later. So let's dive right in. Inside IntegratePro.net, you're going to want to go to the countdown section. You can create or modify a new countdown timer. I'm going to go ahead and use one I've already created. And this is being used as a relative countdown timer. I've set it to expire in 3 hours. I have not set a reset time. And actually, 3 days. Let's just say I want to have this reset in 7 days. So when it first starts, for the first 3 days, it will go to the before URL. After the 3 days, it'll go to the after URL until 7 days later. And at that time, it'll reset, assuming either a webhook is fired on that exact time or date, or somebody clicks a link. So if somebody clicks a link 10 days after, it will restart, but then they will have 3 days from then versus at the 7th day, the countdown timer starting again and finishing on the 10th day. So keep in mind that this is the time where the before and after URL changes, and this is the time when you can reuse the countdown timer. So I've already got some links here. I'm going to click on Update. Go ahead and update that. So now it's ready to use, and I'm going to use it inside Activecampaign. So for the webhook URL, that's going to be the relative URL. This relative embed code is what I'm going to put inside the email, but the relative URL is what I'm going to use for the webhook capability that Activecampaign provides. So let's go ahead inside Activecampaign and build a campaign, or an automation, I should say, that uses that. So I'm going to start from scratch. And I'm not even going to worry about the start. I'm just going to say there is no trigger. And I'm going to wait until, let's just say it's Monday morning, 7 a.m. So let's wait until specific conditions are met. And I'm going to say time and date. Current day of the week in the contacts time zone is Monday. And the current time is in the contacts time zone is 8 a.m. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. And this is important. This will kind of calibrate when things occur. Next thing I want to do is I want to do the webhook, that purple thing right there. So back to IntegratePro.net, I'm going to copy the relative URL. I'm going to paste that in there. Click Save. Now I'm going to create an email that goes out immediately after that webhook starts. And I'm going to go ahead and add a HTML block in here. And I'm simply going to paste the HTML code over here that I want to use. So that would be the relative embed code. This doesn't necessarily show up until you actually send the email. But for now, I want to save and exit this. And I could put another time, a wait state, send out another email, but let's just do this one. And briefly, the reason we want to do this here instead of waiting for the email to be opened is because then we control when the countdown timer starts. If we simply wait until the email is opened, well, that could be any time, and you might not get the desired effect you want with regards to the countdown timer expiring. So always recommend using a webhook prior to the email being sent. So let's go test this out. Okay, so let's go ahead and add myself to this countdown timer, which I've already done once, to show you what happens. So it just started, and momentarily I should receive an email, and it won't show 3 days exactly when I open the email because the webhook would have already started the countdown timer. So I have this email, and notice it's not right at the 3-day mark. It's about 15 minutes ago that it fired off. This is the original email I sent. So there's the countdown timer. It's not exactly at 3 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, because it was fired first even before the email was sent. That's how you use the countdown timer feature from IntegratePro.net with Activecampaign.